I almost got hit by a car when I was 10. I ran into the middle of the road, trying to cross to the other side, and as I got to the road, I didn't know whether I should cross or go back to the side I came from. I was stuck in the middle of the road and I froze. My name is the last thing I remember hearing. My name is Mokgadi Carla Margareta Engela, and to this day, I am still stuck in the middle of the road. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a shockingly polarized world. The Blue Party versus the Red Party, Brexit's Leave versus Remain, the West versus the rest, and even, in some cases, black versus white. But luckily, children like us learn to choose from very early on in our lives. We have to choose between spaghetti bolognese or mac and cheese. We have to choose whether or not we want to play with the green soccer ball or the blue soccer ball. But the color of the soccer ball is not the only decision some children have to make regarding color so early on in their lives. Some children have to decide whether or not they want to tick the white box or the black box when asked what their race is on a survey. Some children have to decide whether or not they want to hold their dad's hand in the park because a stranger might ask if this man is bothering you just because he doesn't have the same skin color as you. We are forced to make identity-shaping decisions from very early on in our lives. And it is these decisions that leave many biracial individuals feeling lost, ostracized, and miscategorized. It is this need to pick a side and stick to it what is leaving many of us running across the road from side to side, not being able to choose. It is this need to stick to your side and look no further what is leaving many of us stuck in the middle of the road. These decisions don't only apply to your identity-shaping decisions, but they apply to your relationships, your professional interactions, and your socialization. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you, or rather show you, how your biracial identity gives you all the tools and materials to build a bridge that will connect the divides that so polarize our beautiful societies. On a lighter note, my name is Mokgadi Carla Margareta Engela, like I said, and Mokgadi I inherited from my Pedi side, and Carla Margareta Engela represents my Afrikaans roots and upbringing. But my nickname is Mokkie, or Moks, or my favorite one, Choki. And I, as many of us here today, believe that my name forms a large part of who I am. I am a mixed-race South African woman. Or how I used to explain to my friends in primary school, my mom is white chocolate, and my dad is dark chocolate. And if you mix us together in a microwave, you'll have me. Milk chocolate, that's where Mokkie comes from. Choki, that's where Choki comes from. I was raised by a progressive Afrikaans single mother. I spoke the Afrikaans language, I went to a predominantly white Afrikaans school, and I lived in an Afrikaans community. This meant that I was completely integrated into this side of my culture. This meant that I could sit down and have a discussion with anyone who shared this part of my identity. It didn't matter if we had the same skin color or hair texture. We shared a common set of understandings of our cultural values. I still, however, remember the first time I was called a coconut. Brown on the outside and white on the inside. This term is used by many black South Africans towards those who don't conform to their certain set out rules and social behaviors. It is stereotypes like these that leave many biracial children in my country feeling isolated and left out. I stand in direct opposition to the negative self-identification that perpetuates these exclusionary stereotypes, because it is individuals like us who have the beautiful potential energy to spark conversations from within. It is individuals like us who understand the unwritten rules within both the cultures we represent, who are able to then connect these cultures and cross the road. In 1993, the then President F.V. de Klerk and Nelson Mandela crossed this road to talk. They met in the middle and had a discussion. This discussion led to the first ever democratic election of South Africa. These two individuals, the Xhosa man and the Afrikaner who met in the middle of the road, literally broke down the walls that separated everyone on their sides of the sidewalk. It was illegal to be mixed race in my country until 1985. But today we are thriving and surviving. There are, however, still some black versus white narratives polarizing our beautiful country. It is our responsibility, it is our generation's challenge to bridge these divides. So, I encourage you to pick up a brick and bring it with every conversation, because it is us who needs to cement the brick into this bridge and build a bridge that will connect these divides. And yes, living in South Africa, the road might have some potholes, but the potholes will be filled and the bridge will be built. Let's look at Trevor Noah, a biracial South African comedian. As you know, he has the reality TV show now. He has that show in America where he tells us about the news. Trevor Noah writes in his memoir, Born a Crime, how he was also born into one of the most polarized societies in the world, South Africa. Primarily raised by his black mother, Trevor grew up in a black household, went to a black school and hanged out with his black friends. But he was classified as colored by the apartheid system. And this made him feel like an outsider, like a loner. But Trevor also explains how he later, as a grown-up, reflected and saw how he actually acted as some sort of chameleon. Trevor could embrace his cultural fluidity and act like a chameleon as a connection. He could make himself belong and fit into any community he found himself in, because he understood the cultural norms and behaviors and unwritten rules of the spaces he found himself in. So, we can't build this bridge alone. We need a construction team of leaders, game changers, and way makers. That's where we step in. There are 3 bricks you can pick up to start build on our bridge. The first brick is acknowledgement. Acknowledge the foundations that have been laid down for us to build this bridge. Look at groups and individuals who are effectively bringing together different groups and diverse people. Look at our beautiful school where we stand today, Waterford Kamgalaba. The school was established 60 years ago by a group of people who wanted to have a group of students break free from the apartheid system in South Africa, who put a group of students into a classroom where they can get an education next to their brown, white, black, and even purple brother. It is this school that allows us, that set the foundation for us to be able to build our bridge and connect millions of societies and ethnicities. The second brick you can put into our bridge is understanding. Understand the cultural and historic ways of the people around you. We live in a fast-paced, globalizing society, and it is inevitable that you will meet someone with a different ethnicity, perspective, or idea. Alex M. is an Irish-Indian fusion chef in Galway, and he has a restaurant where he teaches his participants or customers about the dishes that he has on his menu. But Alex doesn't only teach the dishes, he teaches the cultural practices and values that go into these dishes. Alex, by accepting and respecting his Irish-Indian culture, creates a space where his customers can easily interchange fluidly between cultural experiences without having to give up their identity. And the third brick that you can put into our bridge is perseverance. Understand that our bridge will have some cracks. The spark might not ignite the first time, or the second time, or the third time, but it starts with you trying. It starts with you starting a conversation from within. Let's look at Trevor Noah's example again. Trevor, despite initial resistance, kept on making himself fit in. He kept on going to groups and he kept on talking. These discussions led to global conversations, and Trevor now has a global platform where he can act as a cultural ambassador. Rome wasn't built in a day, and our bridge won't be either, but it starts with you. Now, in my opinion, the best bridges can be found in Venice. There's around 420 bridges connecting hundreds of neighborhoods across the city. And Venice, historically, had a large trade point connecting vast parts of its huge empire. Venice was a hub for cultural exchange, perspectives, and ideas to be switched. This place was the beginning of our beautiful, multicultural world we live in today. It's places like Venice that were marked up in the history books. It's places like Venice that show us that our future is mixed. Us, the biracial individuals living together in our society, have the responsibility to be an example for people to shape change and spark momentum from within by starting a conversation. Start a conversation in your family, in your school, and in your community. And bring a brick with every discussion you have to cement it into our foundation. Because this bridge will be built. The divides will be connected. Every brown brick at a time. Thank you.